Hello.
Goslings imprint on the first thing they see. Which would be you?
You're his mother now.
I do not have the programming.
No one does. He needs to swim and fly.
Swimming's easy. I can teach him the way my mom taught me. Swim!
The Wild Robot. I got out to theaters this week finally to see the latest DreamWorks movie after Puss in Boots. Critics and audiences have been praising this film for basically everything it does, with it being lighthearted, funny, animated really well, and being very well acted. And after how much I loved the new Puss in Boots, I had some reservations about this movie going into it. My biggest gripe once I saw the trailers was that this film wasn't going to be silent. I was originally very excited when the trailer started and it was very quiet and atmospheric, made me think, oh, this is going to be a big budget silent, meaning no dialogue movie from a big studio. That's a big risk. That'd be cool to see. And then my heart sank once I saw the list of voice actors popping up being big name actors all around, because of course, that definitely made me a little hesitant to see it. But after seeing all of the critics and audiences absolutely adoring this film, I had to check it out and see if it truly was something that brilliant. Long story short, no, absolutely not. It's a good movie, but I have quite a few problems with it that end up just kind of pissing me off the more I think back on them. And they're all story bits. Animation and voice acting is top notch from everyone involved, even for the characters played by actors who don't usually do voice work, like Catherine O'Hara, previously seen in my Beetlejuice 2 review. Please go see that, like and subscribe. So before I get into all of the nitty gritty there and all of the issues I have, let's do my usual overview. So, what is this movie even about? The Wild Robot is about, well, a robot that ends up activating on a remote island populated only by animals sometime in the possibly post-apocalyptic future. While looking for a task to complete as per her programming of being a helper to humans, she learns the language of animals and discovers her task after accidentally finding and orphaning a baby goose. Now she must raise the gosling as her own, partnered by a sly fox. And that's pretty much it. There are a few curveballs here or there, but nothing too wild. It's a very simple story that hits all the beats you'd expect it to. The theme is mostly centered around motherhood and how that can grow a person. There are other themes as well, but that's the main one. It's fine for the most part. I kind of wish it was explored a little bit more and had a better thematic resolution at the end centered around the theme of motherhood and inheriting lessons on its own, but it's okay. There are a few big issues here, but let me at least talk about the good first. The voice acting throughout this film is top notch. Lupita Nyong'o plays the robot named Roz in such an interesting way. It doesn't even sound like her, and you can see in the behind the scenes footage I'll have playing in this video somewhere that when she speaks, she does so very robotically with her eyes wide and her face stiff. She has a lot of really fun vocal expressions and it really gels with the character. It's also interesting to see her be this animated after portraying a character that had to be quiet in The Quiet Place 3, so cool. One thing of note that I feel has to be by design is that Roz speaks mostly with a robotic echo in her voice, like a digitized filter, but during some portions of the movie, that filter is removed completely and she speaks clearly. I don't think that's an oversight. I don't know, but I don't think it is. That I think is by design to show how she's changing and evolving. That's cool. I like little touches like that. Her fox companion, Fink, is played by Pedro Pascal, doing a Pedro Pascal voice. He doesn't try to change his voice at all. It mostly fits, but it is weird to hear this energetic creature speak like Joel from The Last of Us or that one dude from the SNL sketch.
Oh my God. Where am I? Why am I in a bed? I don't get anything that's going on right now.
I can't done hear it. The last main character is the gosling Brightbill, voiced by Kit Connor, who is probably the best choice for the role. He plays Brightbill with the perfect amount of wide-eyed excitement, but also being shy and out of place in all the right areas. It's really good. And that's pretty much all the mainline voice actors. Like I said, Catherine O'Hara gets a couple of voice lines here. Mark Hamill's in there, Matt Berry is always there, but they don't have main roles. So I can move on to what else is really good. And of course, it's the animation. It's gorgeous. It has the same watercolor aesthetic that Puss in Boots has, and it just looks fantastic, especially combined with the nature shots. Oh, there's a few scenes with flying birds in the background where the birds will become little stencils instead of full models, and oh, it just looks so good. One little nitpick though I do have with the animation is that it seems like DreamWorks might be reusing models. Now, there's nothing wrong with that. It saves money and it looks fine for the most part, but it is odd for me to look at the bear character Thorn and all I can see is one of the three bears from Puss, just changed up slightly. Same for some fire that shows up in the climax. It looks almost exactly how the flames in Puss in Boots climax looks, even down to the color. It just felt very noticeable to me. Again, nothing wrong with reusing assets and models, but it does bother me that it was that noticeable. The largest issue this movie has, though, is the story. Finally getting into this. The story as a whole is fine. It's a serviceable enough plot that has some awful fast pacing. It really needs to slow down. This movie just zooms by, except for one specific training montage that feels like it goes on for 5 minutes or so. I'm sitting here waiting for this pop song to end and it just keeps going and going. Yeah, that cliche is in here. I'm not a fan of it, but whatever. The biggest issue I have is that the story doesn't take a lot of risks and doesn't explain anything else. Somehow this is the future with what looks like flooding has taken over most of the earth and humans live in domes with robots doing their menial labor, I guess. Okay? How did that happen? There's some subtext late in the movie, but it's never fully explored. Fink also has a very obvious backstory and missing family and a sense of not belonging that is also never explored. He's just the only fox on this island. Okay? Sure. What? Are we going to explore his past at all? Maybe get a heartfelt monologue or a flashback to his origins? No? You're just gonna have him mention it as a side comment and a joke? Okay. That's weird. Well, what about the ending? Is the ending going to be thematically relevant and tie into the metaphors we've been following throughout the film? No? It's going to be an out-of-place action sequence? Okay. Another weird choice there, and that's what bugs me. This film does the story well, but it feels so manufactured. Like, once you understand the theme of motherhood and raising a child or angsty teen and combine it with knowing that this movie is going to tug on your heartstrings, you can immediately see when and where it's going to do it. Of course the goose is going to fail only to triumph shortly after. Of course the characters will have a falling out. Of course the young teen character will come into their own and find self-actuation. Of course in the moment of tension the adopted child will call the parental figure mom or dad. It's so paint by numbers cliche that you've seen a million times before and without the least bit of subtext. At least it's done well. Seriously, these tropes are old and tired and so obvious that it's painful, but I will admit that the film uses them effectively and puts them in creative enough moments. I wish it was a little more creative and took some different actions here or there, but it's good enough. It also helps that this film has a dark side. Characters will straight up die or be found dead, and there will be some morbid comments here or there about death. And I think the movie is better for it. It's good to acknowledge these things. The film would have been way too sappy had everything been happy. There needed to be real stakes here and there, which again kind of bugs me. The movie decides to end things a little bit on a cop-out. I can't talk about it here because of spoilers, but I think if you know me, you'd know how I would have liked this movie to end. I'm curious about a lot of the plot decisions, especially once I found out this movie was written and directed by Chris Sanders, who is the guy behind Lilo and Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon. Some fantastic favorite animated movies of mine that have great stories with complex emotions and situations. The wild robot even takes from Stitch and has an unexpected action-filled climax that doesn't really fit the vibe either movie was going for, but it's there. It's fine. It's frustrating. I want to like this movie a lot more than I do, but these pacing and plot issues just really aggravate me the more I think about it. Sanders is an extremely competent writer, so I wonder what went wrong here. Again, it's not a bad movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's well animated, poignant with its themes, but just stumbles with pacing and following feel-good movie cliches, which you could argue Lilo and Stitch had a similar issue, but the way it tackled its sister relationship and sense of family and belonging was just done in such a better, more memorable way. This is still fine. I just think Stitch and How to Train Your Dragon did it better. Honestly, I think kids, though, will absolutely love this movie, and parents, especially those of adopted kids, will resonate strongly with it. But for me, this film left me wanting something just a bit more. If I were to try to improve the film, to my taste, I would need to fix the pacing, cut the montage with the pop song, just no, none of that. Dive into Fink's backstory a bit and cut out the overly aggressive action set piece in favor for a more quiet, poignant end that would probably be a tragedy because I'm just depressing like that. I wouldn't even bother to include humans. They don't do anything in the story anyway, so you can cut them out entirely and not miss anything. Maybe that's just the downer in me though. I genuinely don't know. What do you guys think? Oh, also I'd make this a silent film or just have the robot do the talking. I don't know why she needs to learn animal language or how it's such a simple task that's completed in the first 3 minutes of the movie. Like, why? Okay, whatever. Still, it would have been better if it was a silent movie. Silent, atmospheric movies are very few and far between nowadays. It seems like the next big animated release is going to be a silent film, a movie called Flow, about a cat and a group of animals sailing around a flooded apocalypse. The trailer shows that it looks like a video game cutscene, but I'm excited for it regardless, especially since, yes, it is silent, no dialogue besides animal noises. Cool, I like that. We'll see how that turns out come December. It's getting tremendous reviews, so who knows? Overall though, I feel like this movie in particular is fine. It's got strong acting, decent morals, a gorgeous visual style, and will surely keep kids' attentions. My theater was chocked full of young kids, but they all somehow paid attention and didn't run around screaming. Even during the quiet emotional bits, they were quiet. That's impressive. So I think this movie, despite its flaws and setbacks, is a good time, especially for kids and parents. It's not groundbreaking by any sense of the word, but it is well acted and well animated and harmless enough. I don't think it deserves or needs a sequel, but we'll see given it's coming from a studio that absolutely loves its franchises, so okay. I think it's a decent enough time. Definitely give it a watch. So ultimately, The Wild Robot gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Hey guys, thanks for sticking around for another one. Yeah, it's not a horror movie, but hey, we get VHS Beyond this week, along with Joker 2. I have a Halloween type video that's gonna come up in a couple of weeks. I'm really excited to get done. I'm having some friends help me out with it. It's gonna be really, really good, I hope. So stick around for that, please. What did you think of this movie? Did you enjoy it? What other animated movies do you want to watch that are coming out or have been out? I've heard some really, really good things about Robot Dreams, but I haven't watched it yet because I thought just from the poster that it was for kids, but I guess it's not. It's meant for adults. So maybe I'll give that a watch at some point. There are a couple of other claymation movies I want to check out too, but that's all I have for now. Let me know what you guys thought about this movie in the comments below. Did you think it was a masterpiece? Do you think it could have been improved? Do you think we're gonna get a sequel? Oh god, I hope not, but it's DreamWorks. They'll probably throw a sequel out of there or some TV show or something. I don't know. After that, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, ring that bell so you don't miss a video, and yeah, that's it. Have a great day, and if you're not, have a better one. See ya.
I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a